Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Fernando. I have been in real estate since 2008. Yes, I've been a realtor for about 17 years now. And my goal with the channel is to help people make a decision. Is real estate the right career for me? If it is, how do I succeed? And if it's not, what do I do? Do I get out of it? Do I do it part-time? So today what I want to talk about is why getting a job or a W-2 or a 9 to 5, as many people call it, is probably your best option. Now, there are cases where it is not your best option. I'll talk about that at the end. But I want to start with probably the most obvious reason why getting a job is probably better than pursuing a career in real estate. And that is because of guaranteed pay. I mean, we all need money, right? We need money to survive and to thrive. So if you have a job that offers you a salary and you know that you're gonna get paid every 2 weeks on the 1st and 15th, or maybe once a month, or in some cases, once a week. I mean, there's some security in that. There's some security knowing that you can basically figure out what your budget's going to be with regards to your bills and your expenses and how much you want to put away in your savings and investments for retirement, and can kind of calculate that versus a career in real estate, which many times you don't know when the next commission is going to come. You don't know if it's a month away or 3 months away or 6 months away, or in many cases, I've had people in the business that I know that they didn't sell anything for an entire year. Just think about that. I heard somewhere that the average realtor sells about 1.5 homes a year nationally. And let's just say the average commission nationally is like $10,000. So what, 15 grand, right? 15 grand, or if it's $20,000 per commission, that's what, 30 grand. So yes, most realtors out there aren't selling any houses, A good majority are probably selling at the most 3 or 4. So unless, depending on your market, you're able to generate an income, I'd say at least close to what the medium range is. It's probably better for you to pursue something, a career that you actually would be excited about and that has a lot of growth potential. So let's get into number 2. The second reason why it's probably better to pursue a career that's a 9 to 5 W-2 type of career versus going into real estate is the benefits, right? In real estate, there really is no benefits. There's no vacation pay. There's no insurance. There's no retirement. Everything is basically on you to go out and figure that out, right? If you're going to get health insurance, you have to get private health insurance, which is very expensive and usually doesn't cover as much as what a employer group health plan would cover, right? With regards to retirement, there's nothing that's set for you. There's nothing where it's like, okay, here is our brokerage. We have a 401k plan and we're going to contribute X amount of dollars to it, versus when you're at a company that will set that up for you, right? So every check that you get, there's a certain amount of money that's going out towards it. And many companies will also contribute to it. And you always want to take advantage of those contributions. Really, I'd say as much as you can contribute to your 401k and legally allowed to, right? PTO, paid time off. We've talked about some of the benefits that you don't get in real estate. You have to be on all the time. That doesn't mean that you work every single day, but you're always answering your phone, obviously taking calls, responding to texts, responding to emails. Unless you have a team, unless you have support, it's a very active career. It makes it difficult to go on vacation and to completely shut off, right? So if you need that, if you need to check out for 3 or 4 days or a week or 2 weeks, right? This is again where you go back to this corporate career and you have vacation pay. Say it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Depends on how much time they offer. You can negotiate. There's some that will offer you unlimited time off with pay, but usually it's based on performance and whatnot. But let's just say you get 3 weeks off a year. That's 3 weeks off a year that you can completely just focus on you, right? Or your family, or your friends. You want to take this amazing trip to, say Europe somewhere, right? That option is not there, right? Sick days at a corporation, they're going to give you X amount of sick days and holidays, right? Where in real estate, there's many times where I was out showing houses on 4th of July, on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, on New Year's. There's days where I wasn't feeling my best. And, either I went out to meet with a client, or I still had to submit an offer, or basically, try to negotiate on behalf of my client, or answer questions, or be present, or hop on a Zoom call. So there's a lot that goes into it that you yourself, right, as a self-employed business owner of this kind of one person real estate team that you have to be on pretty much all the time. It's hard to shut that off. The good thing about a corporation, it allows you to take time where you can actually shut off and you're still getting paid. All right, number 3 is growth trajectory. So that is basically the opportunity that you have at a corporation to grow within your career, both in income and in status and position, which when you're a realtor, that really isn't there. I mean, maybe you can build a team, but again, that's something that you have to go out and do yourself. Or if you want to become a broker, then you have to take on that responsibility and that liability to open up your own brokerage. But within a corporation, if you perform well, there's opportunities for you to rise above the ranks, right? To go from entry level to maybe mid-level to a management role to maybe one day a C-suite role, or to maybe one day even, who knows, even run the company yourself. That's all a possibility, right? And that's something that within real estate, it gets kind of repetitive, right? It gets kind of repetitive where you end up kind of doing the same thing over and over again. You don't really feel like you're growing, you might say, well, I'm getting more referrals now, or people in my market know who I am, or, business is a little easier to acquire. In a way that can kind of feel like growth, but it's not the same versus when they change your title and they change your role and they change your responsibilities, and you have more of a presence within the company, and you're more of a bigger decision maker, and you're leading a team and you're leading a group, and you're able to travel to other locations for the business or internationally. And that's something that excites people, right? Because otherwise it becomes the same thing over and over again. There's so many things within my real estate career that I did years ago that I wouldn't do today, just because I feel like I'm past that point, right? As far as picking up the phone and cold calling or knocking on people's doors. I really don't do open houses that much anymore either, right? These are things that I feel like I've grown from. They helped me at the time, but it's very minimal the ways that you can see yourself growing as a realtor, right? Because again, what it comes down to is that your goal still is to help someone buy a piece of property or sell a piece of property, or buy, invest, if you're working with investors as well. But within a corporation, there are a lot of routes that you take. And sometimes within that corporation, there isn't somewhere for you to go to. And then that's where you beef up your LinkedIn and you update the resume, and either recruiters come calling you or you go looking for opportunities. And I've heard of many people who've increased their salaries by 50%, double their salaries by going from one corporation to the next corporation. Or sometimes you'll do a career switch. Maybe it isn't for more pay, but the other career that you get yourself into is something that excites you. I've known so many people throughout my life that they've been in one career and they kind of felt stuck, but they really wanted to do something else, and yet they never pursued it. Again, you're going to have much more of those growth opportunities with the corporate career. All right, for those of you who stay to the end, number 4 is the ability to move, to be a little, let's call it location independent. And I'll explain what I mean by that. You might say, well, my career here, I have an office job. I have to go to this location every single day and check in and work from the office. And that might be true, right? But there are a lot of corporations out there that have offices and departments in other cities and other states and other countries that provide you the opportunity if you did want to move out there, or the promotion opportunity, or a different job opportunity. Or externally, right? You start looking for careers within that company, a different company that will take you to a different place. And you know your cost of living. Maybe you can make the same pay for cheaper cost of living, right? Or maybe you'll take a pay cut, but it evens out, right? Maybe there's no state taxes in a state like Texas, for example. A lot of jobs today are also remote or hybrid. So you have so many potential opportunities out there trying to figure out, your lifestyle and where you want to live, right? Versus in real estate is very location dependent. I mean, your clients are there. They're within that community. They're within that, say, 30 to 40 mile range. If you move to a different market, say 2 or 3 hours away, now it starts to become more difficult for you to service your clients, for you to continue doing the things that you were doing before that were working for you, right? Because you're a little further away and you're not going to make the drive every single time. Well, let's say you move to another state. I've known people who've done that. I know people who've moved to Hawaii or Colorado or Nevada it becomes even harder, even more difficult to maintain that same client base. And then you go, well, now I got to rebuild my client base. And something that I've done a few times where I've moved to Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada, and I've had to start my business there. I've moved back to California, and it's never easy, right? It's never easy. So in many ways, you do feel like you're really tied to the location where you're at there in real estate, right? Obviously, that may be the community that you grew up in, or wherever it is that you decided to build your business at. It's not quite easy to just get up and go. And then if you're successful, to continue that level of success somewhere else, where in a corporate career, that same company might provide you an opportunity to move somewhere else, and you might make the same or more, or maybe a little less, but then you can adjust it with the cost of living, and then maybe lower state income taxes as well. So hopefully that helped you. If it did, you can go ahead and click on this next video here for another video along the similar topic of real estate.